So if we focus on the individual and the beliefs, then the job of intervention becomes trying to change individual hearts, individual minds, trying to convince them of their wrongdoing. And there's some folks who do interracial dialogues and doing that kind of work that's really effective. And that's awesome. But what a systemic perspective suggests is that you could change the individual, but they're going to be right back in the cultural context or right back in the systemic context that facilitated those beliefs in the first place. So if you don't address what's going on in the system, then you could change the individual heart, change the individual mind, but what's to sort of sustain that mode of thinking or sustain that way of approaching? In my classroom, I like to talk about racism and those ideas as fish in fish bowls. When you think about the fish, he's swimming around in the water, and let's say that in this case, racism is the water. And we could all agree that racism is toxic. The solution to giving the fish the best chance of survival is not to take him out of the tank, clean him off, and then put him back into the tank. What you want to do is clean the fishbowl, right? You want to address all of the things that are happening in that fish's environment so that they could have a healthy, longer existence. And so I think that's kind of how our approaches to racism has been, sort of thinking about taking the fish out of water, cleaning him off, trying to convince his little heart or his little mind, then putting him back into the toxic water. And so if you don't do some work to address what's going on in the environment, then that's not going to do. Now, that's not to absolve individuals, right? Because fish can also do some polluting of the water. And so it's really a dynamic between making sure you're engaging both aspects of this dynamic.